And tonight I'm just wanting to sort of dedicate the show to the site, kind of put some time into it, and I'm putting off tonight. I'm not working on our Bad Apples film, which last time we worked. We had our live show. I worked on altering some images and compiling them for animation purposes in a program called Moho. So anyway, we'll do that next week. And so tonight, I guess the big news, of course, is we are changing our website, trying to make it more appealing to a broader audience. And so I've gone ahead and made some changes. And now the changes are not drastic. I mean, the site is essentially the same. So there's nothing like, I'm not like removing whole sections or adding whole new sections or changing things too drastically. So the first thing you'll notice is obviously it looks different. We have a different logo, and we're calling the site Stop Motion Magic now, as opposed to Animate Clay Stop Motion Network, which we had before. And the reason being, of course, is because I'm trying to make the site more appealing to people that are not just clay animators. So that's part of the big that is one of the bigger changes to the actual site. So the site still goes to animateclay.com. I haven't changed the URL yet. I haven't bought it. So I'm contemplating how I'm going to go about that. So when I buy stopmotionmagic.com, I may just have it forward to animateclay.com for the time being, because there's a bunch of stuff involved. Like you have to get a special security certificate to make the site run in HTTPS. So that was something I had to do, I guess, about maybe, I'm going to say 5 months ago or so, where Firefox and I think also Google Chrome will warn you if you're going to a web page that is not secure. Let me make sure. Let me see something here. Okay, just making sure my mic does register. So basically, that's something I'll have to probably do this week. And you'll also notice that the colors are different. So before it was very bright and more like a kid's theme. I guess you could say. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that, again, I'm trying to make it appeal to more mature audiences. So the main graphic here is of a set that I worked on for Zombie Pirate Tales, one of my short films, and you can sort of see a green screen and everything. Now, this might change. You guys can leave some feedback in the forums if you think that should be different. Also, feedback on the logo here. I did use some original graphics from the Stop Motion Magic site. There was a hat with the film strip here, and I think Randy made mention that he said it's not as nice as what we had for the Animate Clay site. So, but this is up in the air. I have an idea about this that maybe you guys would like, and that is that maybe we can have a thing where members of the site can make a magician character or something related to the theme itself, stop motion being like magical. So I know that Metal Mad Cat had made a little logo, and I thought, well, maybe if people are interested in making logos, we could swap those out, let's say once per month or something, or once every couple of months. So that, I think, would be kind of fun and kind of get people interested in being involved in this site as well, and shaping it, because I kind of feel like maybe the input or the ideas I have on my own are not as good as what some of you guys have, and so maybe that's something you might be interested if you're watching. Also, Metal Mad Cat made mention that he said in the forums here. Let me log in. Let's get in here and okay, let's see if this goes to it. Okay, so Metal Mad Cat had made mention that that we should reinforce them and give them more prime protagonism, featuring them mainly in the site like a section and not just in the forum. That would be my suggestion, and maybe a more visual propaganda and not just a written announcement. So I did add on the network page. My cat is sleeping on my scanner. He's making a bunch of noise up there. So I added this little box here, which is the 5-week challenge highlight. So I was thinking that every time we have a challenge and people enter their films, I would just kind of post their film here, and then this might gain interest. People will be like, well, why is that there? And so we have a link that goes, learn about our challenges here, which is goes to our challenges page. So Metal Mad Cat, maybe, I don't know if he knew that we had this particular page on here explaining everything. I don't know if there's something I can do here in order to make this, get out of there, cat. Oh. There's no safe place for a bowl in this room when my cat's around. So I don't know if we should change this page or not. I guess that, the main thing that I fixed was my mouse is going berserk here. The main thing that I changed was that this particular link now goes directly to our forums, to our latest forum entries for the challenges. And where before it just went to the main forums themselves. So I think people, when they click this, would have gotten lost, because if they're just clicking on the forums, they might see a bunch of stuff and be like, oh, where do I need to enter my film? So that's something that's a little bit more streamlined. So I guess that's pretty much the main change that I made there, is just to try and advertise them on the main page, the challenges, by kind of giving people more exposure, those who entered, and then also the link here. But the rest is still the same. Now, like I say, if anybody has feedback on how you think we can improve on this page, of course, feel free to hop into discussion. So next, we have in the forums, I made some changes. All right, let me let my cat out. All right, so I'm back. So, so the main change here was that in our discussion about changing the site, someone had made mention, of course, that we maybe add a few more niche areas to the forums. So what I went and did was, so we have our 5-week challenges at the top, and then we now call this section Your Work in Progress Creations. So this is kind of like a section where people can post, pictures of their work, or whatever is not finished. So here we have some sketches from Freddy. I guess this doesn't work now. Let's see. Oh, he might have changed that video. But so we have pictures, and let's see here. So I probably had to move some of these around. What's one? Let's see. Beards. That means that motion project. So you can see like pictures of the sets being built and puppets. And that's kind of what this section will be. Now this section used to have pretty much all posts in it. Like I didn't really have that many sections to the forums. So what I went ahead and did is I added a devoted clay animation area, because a lot of people, hey Weebeast. So a lot of people, of course, were coming here and posting quite a bunch of clay animated related films and things like that. So, for example, a claymation music video for the Lithuanian song Chef Song, and so if you click it, people would post their clay animations. So it's really cool. But since we had so many of those, and of course, Claymora, Tamara Me, for example, of course, has lots of videos and things, and so a lot of people posted that in our forums, and so I have a section where I moved everything in there, and like I said, there's still stuff I had to move around, but we also have a Lego toy and found objects animation section, and because that was also another popular area or popular theme of videos that people would post, I made a section just for that. So that's there, and we still have our welcome mat, and we also have general discussions and news. And so this one here, you can post whatever you find on the internet. Maybe you found a film you want to discuss, or things like that. Now, of course, we might add another section or two. That's up to you guys if you think we need more, or if you have any more suggestions. So we kind of broaden the scope, of what you can post, and it's not so niche anymore as it was before. Now the live video podcast, there's nothing really changed here. This is still the same for the most part. So essentially, anytime I have a live show, you can click there and watch the latest one. So after this show, I'll add this show to the playlist, and this is actually just a way of showing the latest videos, and it automatically pops up here. So you can watch the show there, just the same as always. Now the tutorials and articles, I was thinking of kind of cleaning this stuff up just a little bit, and there's something that I would like to add to this section, and we have a free downloads area. And so this used to be an area where a lot of people used to come into our site just to download the free software, and then they would, of course, see the rest of the web page and get curious, and so this was sort of like a way to lure people into the site, and that's kind of what I used it for initially. But you can see like I had to change some of the text colors. This is all black here. But one of the things I would like to add to here is a section where we can give away our Bendy's armature kit designs on there for 3D printing. And this way people can have a way to print out their own puppets for free. If they have a printer, of course. And it would cost them the PLA plastic or ABS or whatever they print in. But I was thinking of adding this as a freebie. And kind of that way, that it's sort of just to build some excitement on the site and maybe get people interested in 3D printing too. Because it is actually, it's really a great tool to have a 3D printer for stop motion. There's just like so many things you can print out, and maybe we could even have some sort of a thing where we design stuff and put it in there, like maybe some light rigs, like where you can hold light gels or something over in front of a light bulb, or little rigs like for flying or for walking or whatever. Which actually we do have rigs, and maybe I can offer that as well. So we have our jumping rigs for our bendies. So this is something we can put in there as well, just to kind of, again, build some excitement and get people interested in that sort of aspect of stop motion. Hey Hoserloo, welcome back. Now the links are pretty much the same. Nothing has changed in here. From time to time I do add stuff in here, and sometimes I also remove things, because quite often links retire and stuff gets thrown to the wayside, and people change and delete their websites and things. So so I do kind of go in there and get rid of that. Now the contact section, I was thinking of changing this. Now for example, if anybody, for example, actually, Whiskey is a moderator in our forums. And of course, he goes by Mr. Force in the forum, so you can see moderators. So I was thinking of maybe adding like a section in the contact area where you could, maybe contact like Mr. Force to report anything suspicious, on the site. So I was thinking of updating that as well. So I do have a to-do list, and I'm going to write that down so I don't forget, actually, because it was on my mind earlier. So, yeah, what else? Hey, Randy. So we also have the news section, which, I don't really update this very often. I do it maybe once or twice in a month. I would like to update this more. I just don't really have time. That's one of the things. So I don't know if anybody would be interested out there in kind of just, finding some fun news and videos to post up here. But that would be great. And, well, let's see. The other thing is, I believe, general discussions. Okay. Hey Jay, welcome to the live show. So I did ask if anybody was interested in altering the images on our site, because there's a lot of default images which are not really stop motiony. They're kind of boring actually. And so Double Snake, I think, mentioned that he might make some of those images. And what I did is I went on here, and I know I have links. Where did I post them? Oh, okay, here it is. So, for example, we have the cover photo for new members, and this is basically what you have on top of your profile. And it's just like a generic kind of, happy-go-lucky dude just standing around there. But and there's also the female as well. And we also have other images. Like, for example, we have the user male, which is the avatar, and the female. We also have a default cover for cover photo for groups here, which you can see is a bunch of people standing around. And we also have the default avatar for the group. And so, those are all images that need to be updated. Now, I can throw something together pretty easily, but if anybody out there is interested, I don't know if Double Snake is actually still interested in working on those, but if not, I can get on that as well. Hey, Hoserlu, so you're interested in helping with the news? That's cool. Yeah, so if you're interested in finding stuff, we can definitely work something out. The main thing is there's a lot of news out there, and sometimes finding the good stuff is hard, and it takes a little bit of work. But if you want to, sure. I think that you Chili's was also explaining that he had different ideas of what would be good for our URL. Like I say, I think stop motion magic is. I'm gonna stick with that, just because it worked out really well the last time. But what else do I have on my list here? So the icon also, I still have the old icon.ico file. For those that don't know what that is, it's a little graphic that pops up usually here in your browser to signify where you're at. And so that's something I'll have to change, I believe. And also this trophy, I was thinking we could work this into our challenges page. So if I can remember correctly, because it's been a long time, but what I was thinking was back then when it was a stop motion magic site, we could sort of grant winners of the challenges this image to post on their page. So like if you win the challenge, you get to sort of boast about how you won the best animated challenge for that 5 weeks. That was one idea I had. And Whiskey says, why not make a 1 or 2 week challenge for website assets, and we picked from them? That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah. I think that actually would be a great way to start the next challenge. Like just sort of start up, maybe what I can do is I could link to all of those links I posted before, so people can see. And let's see here. Did I delete this? Let me check. Okay, so I still have that. All right, very good. Um, so yeah, I have the original three, all the files, all the image files that people can use here. So anybody can use those to, stick into their design as well. So yeah, very good idea. Let's do that. So let's make that our next challenge, and I will start that after the show tonight. Awesome idea. Let's make graphics. Now, so Hoserlu, I guess what I can probably do is make you an admin for the site. Now, the problem is, of course, the site is a bit glitchy, and posting things like videos is really a pain in the butt. For some reason, when I post videos, for example, on the main page, I'll show you real quick here. So if I type in all this text right now, well, because of the changes to the theme, everything is got white text, and so the white text shows up as white on white in the admin now, which is not nice. And also when you post the video HTML, if you go to edit your post, the HTML for the video, it just disappears, and I'm not sure why. So I probably should work on that stuff. But if you're not easily frustrated, we can definitely, I can either have you post the news, or you can just send it to me, and I can just post it up, whichever you like. Yeah, Janet, if you'd like to send news, sure. I mean, even if you guys would like to write it up, write up a simple paragraph or so, like what I generally do is I just have a paragraph or so just to explain what it is that is we're discussing, in the news, or not discussing, but posting in the news. And I usually post a link or two. Like, so, for example, this Paul Jenkins Polar film, he's got a blog, so I posted a link. And that's really, it's pretty simple, Post a link so people can find out what they're doing and what kind of puppets they've made, and sets and things. This is really fun, it's really fun to visit these sites. And so finding these kind of rare things like this, where people actually post their progress and have a little bit of a social media following, is it's always fun to go through this stuff. And I think that that's what keeps people inspired to actually make more animations. So really, if there's a story that's inspiring, that's really what I'd like to post most, or things that inspire people, So let's see. So Weeby says black is usually not recommended for web pages. And Hoserlu says I'm glitchy too, so how bad could it be? Yeah, okay. Well, we can definitely work on. I don't know. If you've worked with a Joomla website, it's pretty straightforward how to do it. But if not, I can definitely help you out if you can't get it, find your way around in the back, in the admin. And as for black, that's true that black is not usually recommended for websites. It's just that these colors are pretty much universal for stop motion products, and most stop motion web pages that I've been to are dark themed, and I'm trying to stick to that kind of theme, just because that's what most people are accustomed to. So it's sort of like thinking about like if you ever use Dragon Frame, for example. It's pretty similar colors. I think it's pretty nice. I kind of like the colors personally, but I know I can't please everybody for sure. So what else? So we went through the default images and changing those. So I still have to buy the URL stopmotionmagic.com, and what I think I'm probably going to do, like I said, is I'm going to have it just forward to animateclay.com for the time being, and then I'll have to buy a security certificate and all that, and see about if I should. See, somebody mentioned to me that if I change animateclay.com and just delete it, and just use stopmotionmagic.com, that my standing on the search engines will drop down to 0, basically. So also a lot of people have linked to the site and different pages, and so all those links will instantly die. So I don't know if I should have it where, like, I'm not sure how to have all those links that are out there forward to the new URL. So I might just reverse it, and we'll use animateclay.com, but if you type in stopmotionanimation.com, it'll go there. So I have a website that I run for a group here in my town. It's for a Buddhist temple. So I do have a URL forwarding, which is http or it's actually https mybuddhatemple.com. So they have a complicated URL, which is hard to read because they're a Vietnamese Buddhist temple. So what I did is I told them we should make a simpler URL so that English-speaking people can just, when they click on it or type it in, it'll go directly to the site. But let me see how it works. Okay, so my Buddha temple actually it forwards to the Din Quang Buddha temple website, but it appears that it keeps the URL at the top. So technically speaking, so watch this. So if I type in Din Quang, I think it's dinquangtemple.com. Let me check. Yes. Okay. So you can see how it works. So I believe if I use the URL forwarding, it will still keep Stop Motion Magic at the top. So either way, both URLs should work. So I think we'll be fine there. I'm pretty sure I can keep the animateclay.com as well. And I think also, some people will, by memory, just remember animateclay.com. So I think we should be good there. Yeah, I think that's true, Whiskey. I think that's, yeah. We'll just redirect it. That way we won't lose our search engine ranking and all that. I noticed that after, so if I type in clay animation in Google, you'll notice the first two one is a Wikipedia page, and I don't really understand how this one is number 2 on their list. How does clay animation work? Maybe it's popular. Not a bad web page, but this is just like a general kind of website. It's not geared just towards clay animation. But I think we're number 2 or 3 now on the page. Let's see. No. Well, that goes to my book. That's not what I want though. Let me see. Is it the 3rd page? Alright, so it's the 3rd. Is it the 3rd? Page 3 of 47,000 or 47 million pages. So I suppose that's pretty good, but I don't really know how many people are coming to our site from Google. But I figure if we hurt that, even further, if we were on page like 100, there's no way people would find our site. So these are all the kind of weird things you got to keep in mind for websites. So maybe what I should also try to do when I get the time is to work on some search engine optimization for the web page in general. There may be some things that I don't know about yet. I might have to look on the Joomla forums and see about that, just to see if we can sort of boost our performance there. Now the other thing I was kind of wondering, do any of you guys have any virtual reality headsets at all? Or have you ever used like Google Cardboard or maybe an HTC Vive or anything like that? Has anybody tried those? I know it's probably still pretty rare, but one of the things that would be awesome. See, there's a new sort of technology out there where you can communicate with other people through the internet, through your web page, in a virtual reality way. It's sort of like Skype, but you can like move around in a space and you can share videos and things like for example, if you have, let's say, a new film that you've released and you want to watch it together with all your friends, you could go into a room and load up your video and play it and watch it all at the same time. Sort of like what we're doing here as a live show. So if I wanted to load up a YouTube video here, we could all watch. But is that anything anybody's interested in? Oh, okay. So Randy's saying, I've never even seen a VR demo, much less have my own goggles. Oh, okay. Well, you don't actually need to have goggles. You just need a cell phone. And the way that it works is you have this thing called Google Cardboard. And what it is just like a cardboard box that you slide your phone into it. And it has two lenses. And then you hold it up to your eyes. And then you can look around. I was kind of wondering if anybody in stop motion is into that. I know that somebody had asked about virtual reality and stop motion in the forums just recently, and I thought, I wonder if that's like a popular thing right now in stop motion, but maybe not. So I'm trying to think, where was it that I read that? I think it was, where was it here? Work in progress. I think it might have been you, Chili's, that asked. Yeah, it was. So, yeah, this, for example, is what they're trying to do in stop motion. But it's not really stop motion. This is actually, this is sort of like, what do you call it? Well, let's watch here. It's only a minute and a half. This is sort of like the future of stop motion. Is going to be using VR and 3D and all that kind of stuff, because cameras right now are becoming consumer friendly and much cheaper. But I was kind of excited about that, and so I kind of looked into what are the different possibilities in terms of making for example, a meetup space in virtual reality for the site. And this is sort of cutting edge stuff. So I guess most people don't know much about it yet, but there's a program where you can build a virtual reality space and attach it to your website, and then people can meet up there and actually use their built-in microphones on their virtual reality headsets or phones and talk to each other and share videos and all kinds of stuff. So I thought it was kind of neat. I did check it out last night for a little bit and to see how it worked, and they had this very easy to use, sort of like building like a Lego set out of blocks and shapes, and you put it all together to build a scene where you can meet. But I think at least judging from what you guys are saying so far, that's not something we should do. I may end up doing it in the future just for fun, and then seeing if it catches on, but that's okay. But yeah, if you ever get the chance to use virtual reality, I think if you go to like a Best Buy, most Best Buys sell the Oculus Rift, and they'll actually let you wear the headset and allow you to sort of look around like video games and scenes and all that kind of stuff. It's really amazing. It truly is. Like in terms of meeting up with people virtually, it has a very similar sense to meeting a person face to face. One of the programs you can use for free when you get an Oculus is called VR Chat, and people kind of talk to each other and walk around different spaces. And I don't think they have the ability to share videos yet in there. That is a specific thing to to HTML based VR websites. So, all right. Well, anyways, so we'll scratch that off the list. So, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts about? Do you see anything that we can do to improve the site, or you think that we should add anything or change anything? Is there anything that you guys have noticed, or I'm thinking that we're pretty close to done. I think just I think what Whiskey said about having a challenge to update the graphics a bit would be helpful. Hey, United Trolls Association, welcome. And so Whiskey says you could think about a Mumble server, so everyone that wants to chat live at the live stream, members only. So can you explain a bit about that, Whiskey? Is that Mumble's server? Trying to think. I kind of understand what you're saying. I'm trying to think of what that one website is called. It's like a chat page where you can invite friends and talk over your microphones. Is it Discord? Discord, I think it's called. Which would be kind of fun. My site needs more Krakens. Yeah, we should put some in there. Release the Krakens. Okay, like Skype. So yeah, I'll look that up. Is Mumble's. Oh, I see. But there's no third party. So I guess technically Discord would be like a third party, wouldn't it? Okay. So how would people connect? Is that just like they have a Mumble client of sorts, I guess? Like download a Mumble client? mean, that would make it more interesting for sure, especially for our live shows. It'd be much nicer to just talk, to each other and not have to sort of read the text. And then I think there's also a delay this way as well, using the text chat. But that sounds pretty good. So let's hopefully this isn't going to be loud here. Ah, okay. So actually, technically, it is going to be on their network. It says. Let's see what it costs. So a month for 15 people is $750. 12 months for a whole year would be, for 15 slots, 54. So I mean, a lot of times we have about 14 people that visit our live show. Okay. I see. So you can just download it. So Mumble is is an open source, low latency, high quality voice chat software primarily intended for use while gaming. You can download for free. Very cool. And the Mumble's client software is required to connect to a Mumble server. Get a free Mumble server. Very nice. That's cool. It's pretty good. So it seems pretty straightforward. Yeah, for Linux, Mac, and Windows. Windows 1.2.19. Alright. So what about Discord? You can download this as well. See, I could recall what Discord was because I know it's pretty popular, but I wonder what the differences are. So, branding, that's always kind of nice, I suppose. Features, download. And let's go with features. So there's just like trying to show what the differences are. They don't have Mumble on here, but it says that it has a friends list. Mobile app is free. Browser support. IP and DDoS protection. I don't think we would really need that. We're not like a political oriented thing. So custom hotkeys, smart push notifications, permissions, multiple channels. It's kind of good. Modern text chat. So it has text and chat. Individual volume control, direct messaging, and automatic failover, whatever that is. So Owiski says it's a bit tricky to set up the server sometimes. Discord is only through a third party. Well, sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes that's actually, because if you have to do all the work yourself, sometimes it's not as nice. I think whatever is easiest would be what we can try. So let me ask you, let me ask everybody out there. So Owiski's idea of having a sort of group chat like that, would all you guys want to speak together in a group during the live show? Is that something that you guys would be interested in? I mean, I know some of you are a bit more chatty than others, but is anybody interested? Maybe we could add that in our forum topic. and get some feedback, because I think it's a great idea personally, but I wonder if there's any way to sort of integrate. See, with the third party, what I'm thinking is if we use Discord for something like that, we could probably integrate that into the website versus, having it hosted on my computer. Because my computer is not up 24/7. Instant setup here. I can do custom host name. That's pretty cool. That's if I guess we go through them though. And so they host a free trial as well. Download, install. Click on their features. Okay, so we have instant setup. Yeah, could be kind of fun. So something I'll have to definitely research and check out the which ones would be easiest for me and for everybody else. I really don't mind third-party stuff because, I mean, technically a chat, if you chat with people, it's going to be lost. Like, I'm not trying to save data or anything like that. So, and if it's free, but is it free? That's another thing. I don't even know if it is. Let's see. Download. Huh. I think it is. I don't see anything that's asking for a price. And Janet says, I don't want. Okay. Well, you don't have to, of course. And Whiskey says, once I have a server set up, I can run the Mumble server for the show. I had trouble setting up port forwarding last time. And I tried host an AD&D game, and we'll have a server at some time. That's cool. Well, I'm just thinking if we could automate it where we don't have to do any sort of setting up and just connect and chat in some way. I'd really like that. Just less to do, less that can go wrong. It could be, like I say, automated. The more automation, the better. Because again, remember, it's like I say, my time is kind of limited in terms of what I can do. But like I say, I'm gonna look into this after the live show. I'm gonna go on YouTube and watch some videos about these, and just weigh the pros and cons. And then what I'll do is I will post in our forums about it. I'll add it to our current thread, and let's get some more feedback and see if people would be interested as well. I know like Ron Cole would be, and I know a few other people that for sure would like to chat. And I think even Tamarami would like to chat because she's, she enjoys talking when she's able to. I mean, time zone difference is pretty crazy, but that would be fun. In fact, what was it that Metal Mad Cat mentioned? Let me go back here real quick. So he made mention of like a music playlist that we used to have. I guess I had a playlist that you could load up on the front page. I don't really remember that, to be honest. And he also said that he liked the hat and best animation trophy. He liked those graphics. And he said maybe I would spice it up a bit more digital than the realistic sculpture of Kong. but that it is just me, he says. And the logo being a hat, it was very reasonable and fit in perfectly. I have an old logo I created inspired on stop motion magic, if it helps. So this is like what I was saying before. He made this little logo for the site many years back, and it was never used for anything. But having some sort of like a logo, a way to enter logos that are related to stop motion magic would be kind of cool. Then we could like post those up top in this area where I have the Mad Hatter currently. I wouldn't mind doing that. And so Randy was saying, for now, he's saying perhaps making the Mad Hatter's head, just crop his head into this area so it fills in the space better. Not really sure if I want to change that too much. I think that I would kind of rather use user-made logos and rotate those in there every now and then. But we'll see what happens. And Weeby says it would be cool. See if there were any other concerns people had in here. So, oh, that's page 2 or page 3. Okay, page 2. That is strange. So why does it do that? This is page 3. Let's see here. So it seems like if I'm clicking on these buttons, so I'm clicking, this is on page 1. The last one is, I say, good point, Randy. And the first one says, I've added the 5-week challenge highlight box. Now if I click on page 2, same thing, highlight box and good point, Randy. Now if I click on page 3, so I guess what I've done, I don't really understand that. Did we lose? Did I lose some posts here? I wonder if something is broken that I've just discovered. Let me scroll down. Okay, that's for that. That's different. That's a different thread. Alright, well anyways, maybe there's something that I'm missing here. So Janet says, I can help with Discord. I have one server. Oh, you have a Discord server? So is that pretty easy to use, Janet? I mean, that's pretty much the main thing, if it's... And does it take a lot of work to set that up for... There's 16 replies in this thread. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it works. Now it's working. Why didn't it work before? Alright, well anyway, I can read the posts. So yeah, I think Randy was the one that had the idea of rotating the graphics. And so he says, I know you discussed it last show, but I signed in now and shocked to see the change. I think the new old name should definitely work better for attracting wider audiences. The name is good, but maybe you should retire the hat and film and come up with the fresher image. The Mad Hatter was better, and Randy was also thinking of adding like some sort of stop motion monsters, like a Ray Harryhausen Dynamation style in there, which would be cool. Oh, okay, so it's pretty easy to set up. That's pretty good. I mean, the less work for O Whiskey and for me, that's the main thing. Like, if we can achieve the same sort of chat server and set it up one time and then always have access to it, sort of like a Skype connection, and that would be ideal. Which I understand, if you'd like to do the work, that's great. But like I say, I don't want to. I want to make things as easy as we can. What else was there? So Hoserlu in the forums also said, I think stop motion magic's a good idea. And having the areas for clay, brick films, and other niches good. So that's also one of the things where I added those in the forums, the added areas for different niches. And the work in progress is there also as well. You can decide more adult oriented is a good direction, and maybe a kids corner. So what do you guys think about that as well, in terms of having a kids corner in the forums? So I think pretty much the Clanimation and the Toymation stuff is, those are more kid oriented. Not that it really is. I mean, technically, I like Clanimation. I'm an adult, but I think that they're pretty much kid friendly, and I think that should be okay for now. And we should share the load, and also something we discussed. It's great for any of us to offer ideas about how much more of Mark's time should go into this, but there's only so many hours in the day for anyone, which is true, which I really appreciate the help. And then what else was there? Were there any other concerns or anything? So Hugh Chili's said he likes the dark theme and pretty handy. Let me see here. Yeah, so I think the URL is tricky. So this is where he was discussing that stop motion magic sounds good, but it's close to stopmotionanimation.com, and does it cover puppets? Which I guess it does, of course. Puppets, sets, animation, and yeah, I mean, people do puppets as well here. I think people are making their own puppets and characters, so I think that should be fine. And maybe that's another area, a whole concept. Yeah, I really do. If you guys are worried about posting in the forums and posting your ideas, don't be, because I think the more information and the more suggestions we have, like what O Whiskey mentioned before, which is an awesome idea, where we can, have a contest. The next challenge will be to create the graphics for our default images on the site, and then whoever has the nicest images we choose from, and then we'll use those. And I think that's a great way to go. So I mean, the ideas that you guys have are really helpful. They really are. And so with regards to the challenges, so Hugh Chili says that I have seen similar concepts fail on other forums. Sometimes people are busy, sometimes it is the same people over and over, sometimes it's just the theme people don't want to be limited. I would suggest more open, vague titles like Work in Progress or Sketch, Model Battle. Maybe people pick a topic and someone does a concept for it, then picks the next poster's theme. Actually, that is what we have pretty much already. So like if you win the challenge, you get to choose the next one. So he says, I don't know, it's hard when it's a time-consuming thing like puppet making. You kind of want that long deadline, but I would also do away with it anyways. It's hard work to maintain the energy of competitions. So that's one thing that I kind of get what he's saying. Like if if it was an open-ended challenge where there's no time limit or anything like that, people can just always add a new, short film or a puppet or sketch or something like that. But one of the things that I would rather, we continue is to have some sort of deadline so that we could at least, view all the entries at one point, and we can choose winners that way and all that. Because I really don't think we can choose a winner. If we have, let's say, an open-ended challenge, and then after 2 years somebody posts something really awesome, and we're like, oh, that person should have won. So that's a good idea, but I think that what we have is okay. So so he says, I used to be on a music forum that slowly died. The only threads that refused to die were post random stuff for lulz and what are you listening to right now? I guess the equivalent here would be what are you into at the moment? So that's kind of where I, in the forums, what I did was I added this general discussion and news area. So like people could, post anything really. That's kind of what I put together from his suggestion there. And so Randy, I guess, agrees also. He says, things really need deadlines, otherwise nothing is ever finished. Yeah, it is important. Like I said, I can understand both sides. Like having an open-ended thing where like that is might get more people interested in joining because they can just take their time. But I guess the better thing would be like if we work out, how much time do people really need to create something. And if our challenges are too short, I think, we have, 5 weeks. I remember we did try at one time, we used to have it for 4 weeks. And people used to say, oh, if I just had one more week, And then we tried the 6 weeks, so we added 2 weeks on, and it was like people didn't enter that as much. So I know we struck a balance with the 5 weeks. I don't know if there's any way to test that. We could do something like every 3 months, but I'm not sure if that's a good motivator also. I think if we make the deadlines too long, it makes people procrastinate and feel like, oh, I can wait till the last moment. So I think having a little bit of pressure there is helpful. So Randy says maybe try both. An open-ended thing that's good for a year, plus the usual shorter contests. Yeah, we could probably do something like that. I remember when we had the stop motion magic site, Nick Hilligas, he came in and he kind of mentioned that, he likes to have a longer time to do stuff. But of course, Nick is like a perfectionist and he makes really elaborate films and puppets and stuff. So I think it depends on your style. Like some people, like Tamarami, would make a puppet, and she had like a system. If you guys recall, when she would always enter the contest, it would be like the same Tamarami puppet, and then maybe her boyfriend that she made, and then like a simple story and a white background. So she adapted to the time frame, and that's something that I think is a good lesson for people to understand. Like trying to do stuff in a deadline and trying not to overextend yourself is a big lesson to learn in stop motion, because that's something that I always would do. I would make super elaborate storyboards and come up with all these cool ideas, which were really fun, and you can go kind of crazy. But when it came down to actually making the film and doing it in a certain period of time, my films would go on for years, like my Zombie Pirate Tales project. I forget how long that one took me, like 7 years or something like that, But of course, I got married and had a kid and everything, so I couldn't really work on it. But and also my mom got sick and passed away, and so it was kind of hard. But it's like if you go too crazy, that's not good too. So I don't know. I mean, we could try it though. We could try like having like a 1-year challenge. You think 1 year is too long, or do you think we should go with like 6 months, or I remember Nick was telling me that he was thinking like 6 months was a good time frame for him. But I mean, for a year, you could do quite a bit if you were to work on a project. I'm just trying to think like how elaborate we would make that challenge if it's a year long. It would have to be something like, come up with the science fiction story where, you're in a spaceship and, have an elaborate backstory to it or something, and then here's what happens. I don't know. So, a whiskey says, I work better with the time limit. Otherwise, the project will sit in a corner like my camera crane 2 years later. All right, a whiskey, you have 3 more weeks left on that. It says, we could also set it to so many weeks or until we have 3 videos. That's a good idea too. Like maybe once we have a certain number of, but the thing is of course people will want to know like when, like when should I check back to see if I won? And what if 2 people enter and then it's a year later? And they're like, well, that's for nothing, So Randy's saying 6 months or a year challenge. Leave the topic wide open like a fantasy, sci-fi, romance, etc. Like a very general topic. Yeah, I think, having at least a deadline. I think that's I'm thinking that's still pretty important to have. So maybe a 6-month one. So let's see here. Okay, so yeah, we can definitely explore that. So what else did he say here? So also people, so actually what he was saying from his experience was that a lot of people just want to talk about anything, which is okay. I mean, as long as it's kind of on topic, and I guess building friendships is of course fun too. It's all part of it. So anyways, I don't know. I think we've covered everything now. So Hoserlu, I suppose after the show I'll send you a message and see about making you an admin to add. Let me see here. Let me do something real quick. I'll show you guys what the back end of the site looks like, but just 1 second. Okay. Even logging into the website has issues. So let me bring this back up. So I'll show you guys all how bad this site really is. So I'll try to log in, and it won't log in at first try, and then it will go to a white screen, service unavailable, and then I'll refresh it, nothing. So for some reason our site does have issues. So I'll go back to this screen, and then eventually it will log into the site. Alright, so there we are. And gonna update. So I do have to update the PHP on the server and all that, but anyways, so with adding new articles, you can see here, if I just type in random text, so for some reason the admin area has the same text as the front end, but yeah, this is how it works. You go here and you go on the side and you go down to stop motion animation world news as a category, and you put everything in there. You can add links, So www.animateclay. You can insert it. Yeah, sure. Okay. So there it is, and the other thing is that sometimes if you use the image button down here, it won't work. But if you use the image button here, it will work. So I don't know. I have a lot of work to do on the back end as well, but you can kind of see how that you know, it is a bit glitchy, and you do have to get used to this sort of system here if you want to add news to the site. But that's really all there is to it, and then it will just pop up on our news page here. All right. Well, anyways, guys, I do appreciate the feedback. You know, it's just really helpful, and appreciate the ideas and help in general. And so, anyways, I guess what I'll do is I'm probably gonna work on the site again. Maybe the beginning of next week sometime. I'm gonna take some time off of it because I have a lot of other projects. But if you guys want to join us for the chat next week, we'll probably start working again on the Apples project. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start combining the images for animating later on in Moho. So hope to see you guys there, and I will see you guys all next week. See you later.